Again, you're listening to Q&A with Dr. Ray. I'm so glad to have you guys with us tonight. And we're going to go ahead and get into question number 4. And that question is this. Dr. Hagins, now that I've heard your lectures on Christianity and Islam, could you please help me understand then who God really is? And how should we refer to him? Wow. Oh, man, that's a question that, again, that's a whole show in and of itself. So let me just take my time and get into this question, okay? And we're doing good on time, so let me just minister to this need, okay? Because I get this kind of a question a lot from our people. All right, first of all, let me say this to you before I go any further. Africans never wanted to know who God is or how to refer to God until we were invaded by other cultures. Okay? The Hosea refers to the name of God by saying it this way, to him whose names are hidden. How do you refer to God? You know, and I'm not saying this to knock you who sent this question in, but understand how deep this goes. And well, let me take my time because I want to be sure I answer you without leaving you hanging, okay? There is a science which focuses on comprehending incomprehensible things. Grab that now. Grab what I just said. Okay? There's a science that literally focuses on comprehending incomprehensible things. The only thing is we don't realize that it's incomprehensible. Okay, so we spend an inordinate amount of time trying to comprehend what is incomprehensible. Unlike everything else, this science occupies itself with things unseen. In this realm, light is darkness, evidence becomes doubtful or false, the impossible becomes credible, reason is an unfaithful guide, and common sense is considered to be delirious. And this science that I'm talking about is called theology. It comes from two words, theos, ologio. Theos is the Latin word for God. Ologio is the study of. Okay? So when you put those two words together, you have theology, or the study of God. Now, please understand, theology is a 1,000% European idea. Theology did not come from the African mind. In fact, it did not come from really any indigenous people's minds. Okay? It came from an unnatural mind. It came from a mind that wants to analyze and document everything. Okay? You know, things that can't, it wants to conquer everything. It wants to conquer intellect. It wants to conquer nature. The mind, and this same mind created something called theology, the study of God. Now, understand, again, I repeat, Africans never, ever tried to study God. Okay, but yet Africans are the people of God. And I say that because Africans were the first people on the planet. So that's just my way of calling them the people of God. Okay, because the first people that God made evidently were Africans. Science bears witness with that, right? So I call them us, the people of God. The people of God were not born religious. We weren't born religious. We weren't born deistical. Okay, we are born spiritual. Now, all religious principles are founded on the idea of a God. But it is impossible for people to have a true idea of a being that they cannot comprehend. Now, grab what I'm saying here, okay? No religious system can be founded otherwise than upon the nature of God and men, and upon the relations that they bear to each other. But in order to judge the reality of these relations, we must have some idea of the divine nature. But theology tells us that the essence of God is incomprehensible to man. Yet at the same time, theologians, which I am one, and I did this, okay? Theologians do not hesitate to assign attributes to this incomprehensible God and convince us that man cannot dispense with a knowledge of God, which is so impossible to conceive of. Y'all get this madness here? Okay, so why is it that the most important thing for man is that which is impossible for him to comprehend? If God is incomprehensible to man, then why does religion conclude that man is criminal if he ceases for one moment to revere this incomprehensible God? You see, religion assures us that our limited minds should never lose sight of this inconceivable God whose qualities cannot be comprehended by the human mind. So in essence, what I'm really getting you to understand here, hopefully, okay, is religion. And that's why actually this is what your question emanates from. Religion. Okay? Not spirituality. Okay? Because spirituality clearly understands that when you look at a tree, that is what's called a theophany, a visual manifestation of God. When you feel the wind blowing against your face, Africans understood that is a manifestation of God. When you look up and see a cloud in the sky, Africans understood that was a manifestation of God. When the rain came down and fell into the earth and plants grew, Africans understood that is a manifestation of God. So it wasn't nothing to try to understand. It was something to clearly accept. However, religion is the art of occupying limited minds with that which is impossible for them to comprehend. And that's why many of our people are enslaved. Okay? So how is it? And we need to ask ourselves this. How is it that we who are spiritual by nature, okay, have succeeded in persuading reasonable beings that the thing most impossible to understand is the most essential thing for them? It's because we were frightened into it. It's because when people are kept in fear, they cease to think. It's because when we have been trained to distrust our reasoning faculties, we go crazy. You see, when the brain is troubled, we believe everything and examine nothing. Now, you must understand, ignorance and fear are the two pillars of all religion. The uncertainty pertaining to man's relationship with his God is precisely the very thing that attaches him to his religion. Did y'all get that? Let me say that to you again. The uncertainty pertaining to man's relationship with his God is the very thing that attaches him to his religion. This uncertainty. You see, man needs fear. In fact, man would think that there's something wrong with him if he had nothing to fear. Now, if religion was clear instead of ambiguous, it would not be as attractive to the masses. Now, I'm telling you, to see that's what, I go through that in my teaching. I'm getting rid of the spookyism. Okay, I'm taking away the mysticism, one of the phrases that I remember using in one of my messages was that we like a God that enables us to get a check in the mail from nobody. Okay, see, in other words, if you get a surprise check in the mail for $2,000 from somebody okay, that's you think, oh, I thank God for God getting a blessing, but let the check come from somebody you don't know. Okay, let the check just come in the mail. And, let me show you what God did for me. Now, child, that's God there. That's God there. See, we like that kind of stuff. Things we don't understand, we get attracted to it more. Everybody remember this. The ignorant needs obscurity. The ignorant needs mysteries. The ignorant needs fables and incredible things, because this keeps their brains perpetually at work and uncertain. But when it comes to religion, most people are nothing but overgrown children. The more absurd a religion is, the more power it exerts. Like the question I answered when the person who sent in the question about the things that just didn't make sense to me growing up. A lot of things didn't make sense to me because it just didn't make sense. But yet people would sacrifice for what didn't make sense. I mean, and I used to go through that as a teacher. If I explained something away, then all of a sudden it lost its meaning. It lost its power. Oh, there go Elder Hagins again, trying to be all analytical. I remember I used to hear people in my church when I was a young man. You'd say, Elder Hagins is a good teacher. We can't take that from him. But Elder Hagins, some things just can't be explained. Praise the Lord. I agree with you. Some things can't be explained. But that does not mean that we shouldn't explain the things that can be explained. Okay? So we need to understand this, man. See, all religion was born from a desire to dominate and control others for profit and power. Okay? And this is why we Africans need to return to our spirituality if we're ever going to be free. So in answer to the question, okay, and I read the question again, let's see here. I want to get it right now, okay. What did I do with it here? I moved the paper around. Okay, here it is. Could you please help me understand then who God really is and how should we refer to him? Now notice the way the question is worded. The person who sent in the question said, how should we refer to him? So it means in this person's mind, there's already a concept of God being of the masculine gender. See, that's what religion did. Because before the Europeans invaded our motherland, God was never referred to in the masculine perspective. God was always seen in the feminine perspective. Okay? And trust me, this is one of the things that empowered us, okay, because we understood that the female is the giver of life. Now, I didn't say God is a female. I didn't say that because God does not have a vagina. I didn't say that God is a male because he doesn't have a penis. Okay, so since there is no sexual organ to determine the gender, okay, I'm not saying God is female or male. What I'm saying is the masculine or feminine perspective or the masculine or feminine principle. Okay, our ancient African ancestors always understood that the Almighty was depicted in the feminine principle. The feminine principle was always depicted of the Almighty. And if you go around Kemet, you see it inscribed in the walls of the temples, tombs, and pyramids of Egypt. You'll see goddess Nut, meaning the sky. The very sky itself, hovering over the earth, was depicted as a woman. Okay? Understand that. When it came to the principles and the foundations upon which the world was built, okay, the foundation of Ma'at, that foundation is depicted as a female with wings, and she represents truth, justice, righteousness, harmony, balance, reciprocity. Okay, so you understand this whole concept of God being in the masculine gender did not take place until the Europeans invaded our motherland. And the Europeans have a problem with the female principle. And that's one of the reasons why, all through Egypt you find the female images in stone chiseled out. Okay, and then they turned around and taught us to pray by saying, when you pray, pray on this wise, our Father who art in heaven. Okay? All of these kind of things, man. So the biblical passages have literally shaped our thinking, or I should say misshaped our thinking, into referring to God in the masculine gender. So you say, well, Brother Ray, how do you refer to God? I say the Almighty. Okay? Some people have a problem with the word God. I don't have a problem with the word God. I don't get into semantical arguments like that. Okay, I know what a person means when they say a thing. You follow me? So when the person sent in this question, she said, help me understand then who God really is. Then you got these intellectuals who want to spend their time intellectually masturbating. Well, you shouldn't use the word God because God is a Nordic word. It's a European word. Come on, people. Let's not get into those kind of arguments. I ain't got time for that mess on this station. Okay? Understand what a person means when they say a thing. I know exactly what this person means when they say God. All right. When my great grandmother said God, okay, I understood that she meant the most powerful being in all creation, the Almighty. In fact, my grandmother didn't even refer to a blue-eyed, blonde-haired white dude. Okay, my great grandmother, I should say. She said God. Most of our elders, our elderly elders, they like Thomas Dorsey, for example, who wrote some of the greatest songs we sing in the black church, like "Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand." Thomas Dorsey never said Jesus. All of his music is Lord. Okay, and a lot of our people understood that Jesus is a creation of the Roman Catholic Church. A lot of our people understood that. Okay, but for the sake of navigating through a society, okay, that would attack you for thinking outside of the box, many of them just, they just said things like, "Lord, have mercy. Oh, Lord, we love you. Oh, Lord, have your way." Okay, and of course, people thought they were saying Jesus. A lot of times, no. Okay, and we got to get back to understanding the truth of our story. So when I refer to the Almighty, I say, to the one true and living God, who is the creator and sustainer of all life, or I'll say Almighty. Okay, I may say God. It depends on the people that I'm talking to. If I know that I'm talking to people and they have a problem with the word God, and if I say God, they're going to miss everything else I'm saying, then I'll say the Almighty, or the Creator, Creatress. Okay, but we got to stop getting hung up over a word, because a word is nothing, and hear this very well, a word is nothing but sound that you give meaning to. That's all a word is. I say that again. A word is nothing but sound that you give meaning to. It doesn't mean that, the meaning you gave to it is what it means to the person who said it. It simply means that's the meaning that you give to the sound that you heard. So let's not get bent out of shape over of a word. And back to the point of, can I help you understand who God really is? Only thing I can do here is to direct you to two places. One is nature, okay, and the other is inside yourself. You want to know who God really is? In fact, an ancient African proverb says, if you want to get to know God, get to know nature. Grab that, okay? If you want to get to know God, get to know nature. That's so important to understand, man. In fact, the English characters, okay, for the word God in Egypt, the English characters are the letters N, as in November, T-R. N-T-R. Okay? Now, because there are no vowels in it, it's kind of hard to pronounce that in English. So people say nter, neter. Okay? So what some of our people have done is they put vowels in there, like the letter E between each word, and come up with the word netter. Okay? But that's self-selection, because the actual letters are NTR. So if you're going to put vowels in there, you can choose your own vowels. So if you're going to put, you can put an E in there between the letters, or you can put A-U-E between NTR. And what do you have? Nature. And the ancient African proverb says, if you want to get to know God, get to know nature. Okay? So whoever sent this email in, may I suggest to you that you start spending more time in nature. Just go for walks early in the morning and watch nature do what it does. Okay, go into the parts of the country, okay, where you don't see so much man-made stuff, where there's nothing out there but the earth and trees and the grass and the mountains and just observe the beauty of creation itself. Okay. Is a song that I used to sing in the Christian church, and the song is entitled "How Great Thou Art." Okay, and the words of the song is, "O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder I consider all the worlds that thy hands have made. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder. Thy power throughout the universe is displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee, how great thou art, how great thou art." Are y'all getting what I'm saying? In other words, when you study nature, you get to know God better. And then, of course, you understand also that everything that's in the universe is also in you. Okay? Yeah. You are a carbon-based entity that possesses all of the elements of the universe within your own body. And understand that the greatest part of the Almighty that you'll ever get to know is the most inner part of yourself called spirit. Okay? So you don't have to pray to some entity out there, outside of yourself. Okay? Just be still. Quiet yourself in those quiet moments and look within yourself. Okay? And get to know God. Because another proverb says, know thyself, for in knowing thyself thou shalt know God. Yeah. I hope I answered that question. Okay? And so once you understand that all religion was born from a desire to dominate and control others for profit or power, it'll help to free you from this program that all of us have been contaminated by. And this is why we Africans must return to our spirituality if we are to be free. Okay? We got to return to our spirituality, not our religion. Okay?